Okay, video 2 in the Wayne Rooney drink driving issue that he's had, the legal issue. So, former footballer, England football captain, gets 2-year driving ban, pleading guilty to being almost 3 times over the limit. Okay, the limit, and pleading. So he's pleading. That's an interesting word. It's worth etymologizing that word, looking at some legal definitions of pleading, or plead, and also looking at the Oxford Dictionary definition of plead. And most importantly is that if there's any Latin root or any kind of historic root to the word plead. And then guilty is also an interesting one. It's basically what he's doing. He's putting his hands up, and regardless of evidence, regardless of damages, regardless of anything, or lack of damages, or harm, or lack of harm, injury or lack of injury, he's decided to say, yeah, that charge, I'm guilty of it. So he's basically pleading out and saying, look, okay, whatever, I am worthy of punishment for that particular issue or crime. This is the young man coming out of court today. We saw him going in my previous video, and someone was kind enough to film him coming out. This article here is actually by the Guardian. He was reported of having a grimace on his face as he left, or smiled at police officers, which is fine. I mean, I'd be smiling if I had that many bloody police escorting me out of a magistrate court. You think of the average Joe Bloggs who gets asked to come to the magistrate court, doesn't get that kind of a reception, and most of the people there were just paparazzi anyway. So there we go. Anyway, Wayne Rooney has been banned from driving, again, that's an interesting word, all should look up the meaning of that word, for 2 years after pleading guilty to being almost 3 times over the limit. The limit? What limit? Whose limit? Am I limited? Who's limited me? In what he describes as a terrible mistake. Bit over dramatising it, but yeah. It's a choice, really. You've made a choice to drink and operate a vehicle, car, if you like, to bear all the liability. You know, you got to weigh up the risks versus the benefits. In his case, I think he was trying to drive a lady home in her car. You know, the classic case: you're wasted, love. Let me drive. You know, I'm slightly less wasted, or I can hold my drink better than you. That appears to be the case, because I don't think Wayne Rooney is the owner of a Volkswagen Beetle. I could be wrong there. Just pure speculation here. The former England captain, 31, was also fined 2 weeks' wages. That's brutal, but I mean that's probably part of his contract with Everton, that he has to uphold to certain standards that reflect well on the club and the corporate image. All the goodwill and all that golden handshake stuff. So if you don't live up to those standards, then that society that he's part of, and he's very much part of this society, slightly less part of the legal society. But yeah, so that's why his employer's obviously got some sort of clause there to punish you should you act out of character or act against the terms of employment. John Tampley, I think that's the district judge, Stockport Magistrates. Yeah, in Stockport Magistrates Court, said he would not impose a fine. Imposition. That's actually to force upon someone against their will. Interesting use of the word. A fine of Everton, a fine on the Everton forward, and assisted banning him from the road for 2. That's pretty brutal. Banning him for 2 years from driving on the roads. He also sentenced Rooney to a 12-month community order, so he's ordered. I'd like to see that. It would be worth noting if that's orders actually been signed by the judge. But maybe if it's a legal order, it's not required to be signed. But there we go. With 120 unpaid work. Again, I've already covered that in the previous. I'm sure. Oh, this is good. There's quite a lot of verbatim kind of speech in here, which is always worth doing. Particularly whenever you're looking at a case. You can get the details and the facts and all the story, if you like, from the main case file. But always at the end of any case, or even during the case, and particularly if sometimes reporters do minutes during a court case, always look at the judge's comments. Most important thing is the judge will keep it very grounded. It will keep it very grounded and very to the point, and it's always worth reading and examining the words that the judges uses, because the judges are the masters of this. Well, they should be. Most of the time they are. I'm sure you do not need me, the judge, to tell you this was a serious offence. Offence, yeah. It's an offence. You didn't break the law, you just had an offence. Templey, the judge, told Rooney, you were driving a motor. Motor's an interesting word. Vehicle's an interesting word. Almost 3 times the legal. So he's admitting here it's a legal issue you've got here, limit, and you were carrying a female passenger. That's a lovely way of a judge not to express the presence of a woman. He's expressing some sort of female, whether it be of mankind or animal kind or beast kind or pleb kind or Gentile kind or whatever. So he doesn't really want to put a distinction on what kind of female that was in the car with you. Passenger, which was an aggravating feature. I've normally heard them say aggravating factors. Now, in the legal world, they have these things like if it's late at night, and you're like if you burgle someone in the daytime. Where did I hear this sometimes? If you burgle, I think it's in the Bible or something like that. If you rob someone in the daytime, they're basically supposed to shoo you off. But if you rob someone at the night time, they're allowed to kill you. That's basically, you have to like, hey, get off my land in the daytime, like daylight robbery. And then at night time, if you come in at night time, an aggravating factor would be it's the middle of the night, and all kinds of confusion and fear would naturally come around because it's pitch black and you've got people skulking around your property. Then that would be an aggravating factor. And I believe that's in the Bible, that you can defend your land or your property with gusto, I suppose would be a nice way of saying it. An aggravating feature to put other road users at risk. Rooney's solicitor, Michael Rainford, told the court the player's 2-week fine by Everton was not insignificant. Bloody hell, was it not insignificant? Now here we are. So we've got Michael Rainford's a solicitor, okay? So he's in court representing Wayne Rooney, and obviously he's speaking for Wayne Rooney to the judge in the legal matters. So Wayne Rooney has sat down, he's appointed, here we have Mr. Rooney has appointed a solicitor. This man is now standing in the stead of Wayne Rooney because obviously it's a legal matter and Wayne Rooney's not a legal society member. The solicitor is a legal society member taking on the role of speaking to the judge in this legal matter. Alright, and that's basically how that is, because Wayne Rooney has no idea what he's doing in a courtroom. He's a master of the football court, or football pitch, but in terms of going into a traffic court, he has no clue. So he's gone and done what everyone does and got a solicitor to represent him. And now the good thing about this is that Michael Rainford will obviously make the right noises. He'll say things that make you think he's doing, like he's representing your best interest, but all he's doing is completing the triangle of the tribunal, where the prosecution is what is prosecuting Wayne Rooney. There's a good question. Good luck answering that. Then you have the judge, which will be the magistrate, and then down here on his side you have Wayne Rooney. Now, obviously, that's an unbalanced equation, because Wayne Rooney's not a society member. This is a triangle scheme. So Wayne Rooney inserts, by his own free will, a solicitor to complete the triangle and make the game, the game is on. The match is ready, the court's all prepared, and everything's going ahead. Through me, Wayne, this is good. Wishes. He's using the wishes word. Wishes. This is the man. Only a man can wish, okay? Through me, Wayne wishes to express. In indefinite, express is a very important word. It's clear as crystal. It's making something as clear as, it's almost like expressing a relief or something, when you imprint something, like a like-for-like comparison. So he's expressing in complete clarity his genuine remorse for what was a terrible mistake and a terrible error. We all make errors. To err is to human, Mr. Shakespeare, of judgment on his behalf. He disclosed that Rooney had written a letter to the court expressing his remorse. So obviously the solicitors running him down the road is, look, you've been caught, you've red-handed, if you like, you've done something horrendously wrong, and the best thing to do is just to like come clean and say everything. I'm really, really sorry. And he's absolutely correct. That's probably the right thing to do within that legal society system. In which he was pulled over in a Volkswagen Beetle when a police officer noticed one of his taillights were out or was not working at 2 a.m. on a Friday. 2 a.m. on Friday? So you went out on a Thursday night? Holy moly. The car belonging to a woman the footballer had met in the Bubble Room bar in Alderley Gate. Good on you, Rooney. And, you got to do what you got to do when you're earning 300 grand a week. When asked, surely you get like a limo? I'd go limo everywhere if I had free. Why would you go? You're a mobile phone away from an Uber driver. Why would you? I don't know. When asked by an officer if he had been drinking, this is what I highlighted in the previous. When asked by an officer if he had been drinking, have you been drinking, Rooney? Said that he had a few. Now the thing is, if someone asks you if you've been drinking, you say, I haven't been drinking. I had a drink, and I am planning on drinking. Yeah? Have you been drinking? Yes, I've been drinking. That's like, yeah, it's like a future tense. It's not really correct or proper. So have you, why don't police stop, why have you been drinking? It's setting you up. What they really should say, or what I'd say, hey, Steve, are you drunk? Steve, are you drunk? Have you been on the bottle? Have you been boozing it up? Have you been drinking is not really defining alcohol in any particular sense. So if someone says, have you been drinking? Yeah, I've got a Coca-Cola right here. No, sir. Have you been drinking alcohol? I haven't. Drinking alcohol? There's a little wordplay going on there. Rainford said that Rooney had been a perfect gentleman when he was arrested. He was a perfect gentleman. I would have used that. Boom. Hello, I'm a gentleman. Yes, I am a gentleman. And this is kind of a point I wanted to raise, is that Rooney's taken it on himself. Obviously, he's gone out. He's met a girl. He's stepped. They're drunk off their heads, but at least he's in a position where he's like, look, I can't let you drive. Let me drive. I'm going to get us home. I'm going to get us somewhere safe. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. The likelihood of hitting anything, hopefully, is reduced. It's not like 4 p.m. outside schools. But not that I'm condoning. Look, if you're going to drink and drive, it's your lifestyle choice, mate. Is all I can say. You've got to. If you crash into someone, you pay the bills, and you bear unlimited liability. Yeah. Unlimited. This is what people need to know about liability. You can do what you want in a free world, but you bear the liability for your actions. So, Rooney's got enough wedge to bear liability for whatever he can do in a Volkswagen Beetle. When he was arrested, and that he stopped the car without being flashed. Okay, fine. In a statement issued after the plea, that's really odd. Talk about, let's go slow so we don't attract attention of the police. Now let's just stop the car so we don't attract the attention of the police. Don't know. In a separate issue, after the plea, Rooney, following today's court hearing, I've publicly apologised. Yeah, we've gone through that already. It was completely wrong. It wasn't wrong, Rooney. It was a code violation. You broke a statute or a legal society code of conduct, if you like. I've already said sorry. Yeah, of course, I accept the sentence. England's record goal skier smiled at the police as he left the court. Yeah. So there we go. And chance of Rooney. Well, that's basically my little 2 cents on this about what to do when police stop you and answer questions. Remember, you're in a Commonwealth land or a common law land. You have the burden of proof is on the prosecution. Okay, which is why the police have to say when they arrest you, you have the right to remain silent. Yeah? So when a policeman comes up to you and says, have you been drinking? You say, am I under arrest, officer? No. And I have nothing to say. You have the burden of proof on you, officer. I don't know, officer. Have I been drinking? If I don't drink, officer, I'd probably die, wouldn't I? Yes, that's right, Rooney. I know it sounds like really kind of, being a smart ass, if you want to put it in blunt, crass terms. But at the end of the day, all you're doing, in this case particularly, he's done the right thing. He's pulled over and he's held his hands up the whole way. But he's not actually done anything wrong. He's broken a code. And when a policeman pulls you over, and I'm starting to see more now that it's kind of they've thrown the book at him, or they haven't thrown the book at him, but they've done it very to the letter of their law, their codes. There's he's done this. There's the code. There's the fine. There's the penalty. Get the press to look at it, take pictures. It's a nice little public exercise in don't drink and drive, even if you're a bloody Wayne Rooney or any kind of top tier kind of what do you call celebrity status kind of figure. You're still going to get you're not above the law, which is quite right in our land. But it's whose law, which law, what law, and he's obviously chosen to go and abide by this law, this particular law. There we go. Now I'm going to go on. Today, pumping out a few videos. I'm going to do a little video on how driving a car relates to the bicycle incident in central London where a man hit a woman while cycling on a probably inappropriate bicycle, Olympic bicycle with no brakes and a back pedal to stop. That'll be next. But I hope this just helps you clear up. I mean, I'm going over some of the phrases here. The words are very important. There's a thing in legal land that's quite common is the word loophole. All right, it's like you pick a word and basically it's very much loopholing every single word, and kind of relating it to yourself. Like impose. Yeah, it's just always interesting. Why have they used that word? Why is that word there? Could that have been a better word? Is that word there a mistake? Are they making assumptions about who you are that will benefit you because you can disprove the fact that they don't relate to you in the exact definition that they're using them. But anyway, there we go. Nice little high-profile drink driving case, just to get people to understand how that works. Fingers crossed.